Hey guys, this is Andreas from Pocketables, and this is just a video to sort of show the to-do lists that I used as the example in part 7 of the Tasker guides in practice. So if you haven't read the guide, you really should, because this won't make much sense if you haven't. But basically this video is just going to show how it works in practice. Just to go into the scene, that's the wrong scene, that I described in the guides. You can see that you have all the elements that I described here. You have the menu, scene element. This is actually a bit more complicated than what's in the guide, because being the optimist that I have actually made this so that it will work out of the box when the deselect bug is fixed. But for all intents and purposes, it works exactly the same as the one in the guide until that bug is fixed. The delete button is of course the most complicated task in here. You have all these nested, you have two if groups, and then you have a for loop nested in that. So basically just to make sure that everything works. Everything here of course is explained in the guide, so I won't use too much time on that. So let's just go out and open the list. So I do have 4 different lists. 3 of them have alerts and the last one doesn't. So to open the last one, I actually hold down on this icon instead of just tapping it, and that opens my standalone generic to-do list, which I used to have as a widget on my home screen, but then I wanted to make it part of my Tasker setup. So I basically use this just to keep track of stuff I need to check out for the site, or articles that I'm thinking about writing. So spoiler alert, I guess. But yeah, you saw some of this in the scene editor as well. You have of course the big new thing compared to version 1 of this system is the ability to select items, and you see on the bottom that the counter is updating sort of half slowly when I do something. And the deselect bug that I've been talking about is if I select everything, you see it says 5 items selected, deselect 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, everything works, and then you deselect the last one and nothing happens, because it doesn't clear the variable responsible for, well, basically the counter and everything else. So as long as that bug's there, I have a need for this refresh button, which basically just destroys the scene and runs the launch task to bring it back up again. But once the bug is fixed, which I hope that's going to get priority because it's just such a silly bug, that will just be gone. So yeah, so let's just add some stuff here in order to have something to delete. Actually, the reason why I wanted to move this list from a widget to Tasker is that I wanted it to be compatible with the auto remote system I made. So I'm on my desktop computer now. You don't see this of course, but I'm on Google.com. So if I just type hello YouTube into the search box, select the text I just entered, right click, go down to auto remote, and then select the option I added there in the auto remote Chrome plugin. Well, basically this happens. And give it a few seconds.
Item added to universal list.
So there we go. So you can basically just go nuts, and I can add it several times, and well, yeah.
Item added to universal list.
Also, of course, I can add things manually, like hello. Or, and this is actually just sort of a side effect of using arrays, but it's actually a very neat feature. if you add just several items separated by a comma, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, okay, that's a P, and then click OK, then it will add it as a single item, but then when you refresh the scene, it actually splits it out, and this is explained. Why this is explained in the guide. So that's a very nice feature. I use that a lot actually, by simply just to add several items at once and have them actually appear as individual items. So that means I can start selecting items like 3, 5, and 9, then hold down on the X button and it will delete those items. And you can see that it deleted 3, 5, and 9, which of course you would assume that it does, but as explained in the guide, there's sort of not really a bug, but there's an issue you need to be aware of, where you need to compensate for something that happens when you use array pop. So if you don't have that failsafe in there, it would have deleted, I believe, 3, 6, and actually 9, I think, because that's the last one. But basically, there's a slight delay, so you shouldn't go too quickly when you select, but for me it works just fine. So 8 selected, I think that's correct. I'm just gonna delete those. Hope for the best. It takes a bit of time to update, that's just because it uses global variables and whatnot. But once it's done, yeah, the speed or the sort of slowness of it doesn't really bother me, because I don't delete 8 items at once often. So, but yeah, I do have 3 other lists, and those are all in the same scene. So if you just tap this icon instead, that one opens up. So the basic concept is identical to the generic list. Is that just that there are 3 lists stuffed into one, and all of these have different alerts tied to them. So the shopping list notifies me when I leave the house, the home list when I come home, and the morning list when I get up. So I can still use order mode to add stuff if I just right click the same text I already have selected and just add it to another list.
Item added to home list.
There it popped up. So seems like there's some sort of invisible item there. Don't know where that came from, but just delete it. There's none of there. But yeah, so even though under the title looks like a text edit field, is actually a variable query button. So just gonna add stuff here as well, and then just you can see it updates down in the bottom left corner with title and tag, because this is still tag based, just to decide which list to add it to. Just add the same one to several different lists, so I have something to go on. So what's neat about this is, even though there are 3 different systems there, 3 different lists, 3 different arrays, I can actually select items across all 3 and then delete them in one go. That's just because the delete button works that way, basically. Actually, we can go into Tasker and just take a look at how this looks compared to the other one. So that's the to-do scene that I opened first, and as you can see, it looks very much the same, except that everything is tripled up. So all the nested ifs and for loops, I actually haven't I've forgotten to compensate for the for that issue I was talking about in this one, so I have to do that. It hasn't really been an issue because I tend to delete everything, but I need to do that. But it's essentially exactly the same as the generic list, it's just 3 times over. And the funny thing about this is everything is 3 times over, so if I go into the launch task, it actually starting to look like some sort of I don't know, everything. There are 3 of everything, so it sort of looks funny at times. But yeah, as you can see, it works. It works great. It's faster than the first one. It allows you to delete single items. I haven't put in a item edit function, but you could if you wanted to. So yeah, so make sure to check out the guide to see how this is done, and thank you for watching.